It's 3:07 in the morning. You suddenly wake up and stare at the ceiling in the dark. Your chest feels heavy. You already know why. Your bank account is almost empty. Your credit cards are maxed out. And every time your phone lights up with an unknown number, your stomach drops. Because you know it might be another debt collector. If you've ever been in that situation, then this message is for you. Because today we're going to talk about something most people never explain properly. How someone rebuilds their life from absolute zero. First, we need to fix something in your mind. Society has convinced millions of people that if you are broke, it means you are a failure. That if you are deep in debt, it means you somehow failed as a human being. But that is simply not true. Being broke is not a moral failure. Most of the time, it's the result of poor financial education, a system built around debt, and a few painful mistakes. But none of those things define your value as a person. So the first step is simple but powerful. You must separate your self-worth from your net worth. Your bank balance does not measure your intelligence, your character, or your potential. Now here's the second problem people face when they fall into debt. They start running away from the numbers. They stop opening their bills. They stop checking their bank accounts. They ignore emails and pretend the problem doesn't exist. Deep down, they hope something magical will happen. But in the world of money, there are no miracles. There is only math. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, sit down with a piece of paper. Write down everything. Every credit card, every loan, every dollar you owe. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. But something interesting happens when you finally face the numbers. The fear begins to fade, because the unknown is always more terrifying than the truth. And here is something most people never understand. People are terrified of hitting zero, but zero is not the disaster people imagine. If you climb out of negative $50,000 of debt and finally reach zero, that is not failure. That is victory. Zero means no collectors calling your phone. Zero means no interest slowly destroying your future. Zero means you finally have a clean starting line. Zero is not the end. Zero is the place where real rebuilding begins. But to reach that point, you have to eliminate something extremely dangerous. Something I call the ego tax. The ego tax is the money people spend trying to look successful in front of others. The expensive car they can't afford. The newest smartphone every year. Daily restaurant meals. Streaming subscriptions. Designer clothes. All of these things create the illusion of wealth, but they quietly destroy real wealth. People are not buying happiness. They are buying the temporary feeling of looking successful. And they pay for that illusion with years of financial stress. If you are broke or deeply in debt, you can no longer afford the ego tax. You must declare a financial emergency. And when you do this, something predictable will happen. Your friends and co-workers will notice. They will invite you out to expensive dinners or weekend drinks. When you say no, some of them will laugh. They will say you're being too serious. But here's the truth. Many of the people giving financial advice are secretly drowning in the same debt trap. Discipline often feels lonely, but freedom almost always begins with temporary isolation. Now here is the most important truth in this entire conversation. Even if you have no money left, you still have one extremely valuable asset. Time. Every human being on this planet receives the exact same daily deposit. 24 hours. 8 hours working, 8 hours sleeping. That still leaves 8 hours remaining. And if you protect just 4 of those hours every evening, your life can begin changing faster than you imagine. Those 4 hours become your rescue fund. But the tragedy is how most people spend them. Scrolling social media, watching endless shows, playing video games, complaining about politics or the economy. It feels like relaxation, but in reality it's financial self-sabotage. Because every evening you spend consuming entertainment, you are giving your only remaining capital away. Instead, you must convert those hours into skill-building time. Because the market only rewards one thing: difficulty to replace. If someone can replace you in 3 days, your income will always stay low. But if you possess a rare and valuable skill, everything changes. You could learn software development, digital marketing, video editing, AI tools, sales, data analysis. The internet is the largest free university in human history. The knowledge is already there. The only price required is discipline. At first it will feel uncomfortable. Your brain will beg you to open social media. It will beg you to watch a movie. But if you continue focusing every evening, something powerful begins happening. Your knowledge compounds. Your confidence grows. Your market value increases. And eventually one day something incredible happens. You use your skill to solve a real problem for someone. and they pay you $1,000. Not a paycheck from a boss, not an hourly wage, but money you created using your knowledge. That moment changes your psychology forever, because you suddenly realize something powerful. You are capable of creating value. But right here, the system sets its final trap. The moment you see that first $1,000 sitting in your bank account, a voice appears in your mind. It whispers that you deserve a reward. It suggests buying a new phone, celebrating with an expensive dinner, upgrading your lifestyle. This is called lifestyle creep, and it is the trap that pulls millions of people right back to zero. So if your real goal is turning $1,000 into $10,000, if your skill is video editing, you upgrade your tools. If your skill is marketing, you invest in deeper training. If your skill is coding, you invest in better systems and frameworks. You are not spending money. You are upgrading the machine that produces money. As your skills improve, you begin solving more valuable problems. And when the problem becomes more valuable, the payment becomes bigger. Instead of charging $100 for a job, you start charging $300, then $500, then $1,000. And something even more powerful begins happening. Your clients start trusting you. Trust is incredibly valuable in business. One happy client brings another, or they hire you again next month. Suddenly your income becomes predictable. Now imagine this: $1,000 from your first project, $2,000 from the next, $3,000 the month after. Within a few months, the original $1,000 you protected and reinvested has helped you generate $10,000 or more. Not through luck, not through gambling, not through crypto speculation, but through skill, reputation, and discipline. And once you reach that point, the momentum begins. Now you protect your money carefully. You create simple rules. Part of every dollar goes into growth, part goes into savings, and part stays ready for opportunities. Because opportunities always appear. When you have capital, maybe you hire someone to help you work faster. Maybe you build a small agency. Maybe you offer a higher level service. Your $10,000 becomes the next snowball. You invest in systems. You invest in marketing yourself. You invest in deeper skills. And slowly, something amazing begins happening. The same discipline that helped you escape debt now helps you multiply money. This is how 1,000 becomes 10,000, and how 10,000 eventually becomes much more, not through magic, but through a simple pattern. Repeat it again and again. Learn, improve, solve bigger problems. Protect your earnings, reinvest, repeat, and here is the most powerful part of the entire journey. Even if life knocks you down again, even if the economy crashes, even if everything resets back to zero, you will not panic, because now you understand the formula. They can take your money, but they cannot take your skills. They cannot take your discipline, and they cannot take the upgraded mind you built during those quiet evenings of focused work. So if you are listening to this right now while feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or lost, remember something important. Your story is not over. Your bank account might say zero, but your time, your mind, and your ability to learn are still powerful assets. And if you protect them and use them wisely, the small snowball you start today could one day grow into something far bigger than you ever imagined. And it all begins with one simple decision. Not tomorrow, not next year, but today. Because the truth is, most people never even take that first step. They stay stuck in the same cycle, the same distractions, the same excuses, the same habits that slowly keep them exactly where they are. But the people who eventually escape, the people who rebuild their lives, they are not always the smartest, the luckiest, or the most connected. They are simply the ones who made one quiet decision. A decision to stop running from reality. A decision to stop wasting their time. A decision to stop paying the ego tax. And a decision to start building something small every single day. Maybe tonight that decision is yours. Maybe tonight you close the distractions. Maybe tonight you sit down with a piece of paper. Maybe tonight you write down the numbers you have been avoiding. And maybe tonight is the first time you truly understand something powerful. You don't need to fix your entire life in one day. You only need to start moving in the right direction. One skill, one focused evening, one small improvement at a time. Because if you repeat those small steps long enough, something amazing happens. Your knowledge compounds. Your confidence grows, your income slowly increases, and the life that once felt impossible starts becoming real. So if you ever feel like you are standing at zero, remember this. Zero is not the end of your story. Zero is simply the place where builders begin. And the next chapter of your life might start the moment you decide to stand up, turn off the noise, and begin again.